Hi guys, and welcome back to Fifi's Fabulous Adventure. Today is Christmas Day and we finally got together to tell you our story. And today is 2 weeks since my surgery. So as of today, I'm down 42 pounds, 34 before surgery and 8 since. But I just started losing, like it was a stall for a little while. So I'll take that. But I told you in my last video that I really wanted Heather to be able to tell her side of the story because she knows things that I missed or whatever. So this is our chance to get together and tell it like it is.
So being a part of the EOC group, like there was a point before we went that I was the people, wondering questions and terrified, because as the companion, you feel like you have to be the protector, the one in charge, the one in control to make sure everything's like up and up like it should be. So I was terrified. And if I had seen a video like this before we went, I think I wouldn't have been as nervous to know that there are people, just hearing their stories about how it is. Because I'm kind of a homebody and it was really hard to get out of my comfort zone. But, you do what you got to do for your sister. So the first thing I'll say, and I've commented this on a few posts, because it saved our lives. And it's just a tip that nobody told us, but maybe I just didn't read it. I don't know. But when you get to the airport the first time, you tell them you want, if you have any issues at all walking very far, get a wheelchair. Because that means that from the point you get in the wheelchair, they have a person that's paid to take you to the gate, and they stay with you most time till you get on the plane. And then when you get off the plane, there's another wheelchair waiting with another person. And there's a few times that I don't think we would have made it, even if we were marathon runners. We wouldn't have made it to the gate. Plus, like, having those people to do that made it to where I didn't have to worry about where the gate was. Like, they just take us there. And so for us, that was just a game changer. And we had no idea, because when I walked into the Little Rock Airport, I saw wheelchairs over to the side. And so I talked to the lady about what we were doing, and we just kind of clicked and stuff. And I told her, I said, hey, my sister is, I'm going to need one of those wheelchairs for my sister. So can I get one? And she was like, yeah, give me a minute and I'll get you one. And I thought, well, they're just right there, I can get it, but okay. So about 5 minutes later, a guy, young guy comes up with a wheelchair, and he was so good. Like, he took us to our gate and he let me stop and get breakfast, and it was like we were a VIP because we got to go through the line first. We got to get on the plane first. Like, there was a line at security, and a line of people, and then here we come on a different thing. And I was like, I had some of her bags. And so I was like, oh, do I go there too? Because I have her bags. And he was like, yeah, come on. So we, get ahead of the line, and he shows her what to do, shows me what to do. And it just made this nervous trip a little bit more at ease, because it felt like, that's just one thing we didn't have to stress over. Going across the border, everybody asked questions about that. And people from EOC always say it's 20 minutes, and like Mexico time is not the same as our time, because 20 minutes usually means 45 or an hour. But they're just so chill, they don't even care.
It was just like,
so
hey, what's up?
But I will say that
was it, right?
Yeah. Like, but the border was no big deal. It was not that the border took time. It's that it was, X amount of miles from the airport to the border with traffic and stuff. The traffic was a little bit, like you just had to wait in line just a second and you'd move. Like, it just wasn't majorly backed up. We get through, and then it's like, say, an extra 10 minutes from the border to the hotel. And so, like, for me, like, I just have to know, like, what to expect. And then when it doesn't happen, it kind of freaks me out. But that was okay once I realized that we weren't going to be,
You just had to learn Mexico time.
Yeah. Because, like, days seemed like 4 days in a row. It was like, is this day ever going to end so that we can move on to tomorrow? Like, I'm ready to eat.
You would lay down and sleep for what seemed like forever, and wake up and it's 10:30 at night.
I have to say this though, is that me and her both, we would get tired about the same time, and in Mexico it was 7:30, which our time would have been about 8:30 or 9:30. And so, I thought to myself, oh, well, it's going to be great. I won't have jet lag, because like everybody said, oh, you'll be jet lagged when you get back and you have to work Monday. And I thought, oh no, I won't, because I'm going to try to stay on our time, which I did. So that means that we slept from 7:30 there to, we usually woke up at 7:30 or 8 that next morning. So we slept over 12 hours.
Yeah.
So that's why it seems so long. It's because we went to bed so early. And then to say that jet lag has nothing to do with you sleeping on time schedule. I realized that because I was so not great. I was just exhausted for days, and it had nothing to do with
I'm still exhausted.
my sleeping. It had to do with something in the plane pressure, the trap, anyway. Moving on. So let's see. So that first night we got to the hotel.
Yeah, and the hotel was great.
Oh, the hotel.
The bed was good.
The hotel was so great. Around it, they're just not sketchy at all, but just old buildings that, Domino's Pizza, Circle K, blah, just these mediocre buildings. And then there's this amazing hotel. And the traffic was madness. And so that first day, I really needed a Dr. Pepper, and the only thing the hotel had was Coke. And that it's like a 4-lane, I don't know what I can't even describe Mexican driving. I shouldn't say it like that, but driving in Mexico, because it's stupid. I don't know that there's any rules or signs or anything. You just go for it, and it was just a free for all, and nobody ever hits anybody.
I don't know how they don't have.
And I'm like, I know that there's no way they text and drive there. There's no way. If you do, you are super talented. But anyway, so that first night I didn't go across the street to get any drinks. And then the next morning we go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't any Coke there, Dr. Pepper there either. So, which that shouldn't be such a big deal, but it's just the only thing I like to drink. And so, we get to the hospital. She does the
pre-op.
The pre-op stuff, which is the getting her blood drawn, or getting IV and EKG. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little bit rough, just because the lady in there, I think once I got home and kind of looked back at everything, I think that it's not that, because there were a few people that I felt were not just super nice. But then I thought, Heather, she didn't even speak your language. So how is she supposed to comfort you? You know what I'm saying? Their way of comforting people in their language is different than how we do, how we communicate. And so they just didn't have a way of communicating that with us. And so when when your nurse is talking to you through Google Translate, it feels a little bit insincere or whatever, but at that point, I didn't see that till we got home, because I thought, some of those weren't nice, and we didn't really want to tip them as much, but they worked just as hard as the other ones, probably harder, because they had to figure out what we were saying, because we were we would say things to them and just expect them to know what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And they didn't. But everybody there was super nice. And the funniest thing that I think is that you go from the hotel to the hospital in van, and which these drivers are hilarious. All of them. I didn't meet not one that didn't have a great quirky personality. No. And but we go through it's just turn after turn. It was I could never get back there, even if I tried, even if it was life or death. I have no idea where we're at. And we get to this big brown gate, and he honks the horn, and then this big.
I don't know.
I'm going to say in the movies, when you have you're watching a movie and there's a
big guy,
a big, a bodyguard security kind of person. And this van of drugs is coming through. They honk and somebody opens this gate. That's what I'm trying to say without being not political or something. Politically incorrect. But anyway, it when that happened, I laughed. Oh, that's
that
funny.
Is what it felt like.
But I mean, it made me secure, because I know that guy was not letting anybody crazy up in there.
No.
Anyway, the hotel was just really secure, because he that one guy, I did not see another guy at that gate the entire time. It was always him. Or there was somebody that looked just like him, because he was there all the time. And even when I went to eat lunch, different times of the day, he was always there. And so it just makes you feel safe, because even there's dogs barking everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
It's I don't know if maybe their insulation is not the same as ours, or there's just a lot of dogs around.
And sirens.
There was
all
no
night.
dogs. There was no dogs out on the streets. I know that because I looked, but there were just dogs everywhere barking in houses. And sirens, yeah. But like your room has a big sliding door, and so maybe that's why the noise came in a lot, or maybe there's just a lot going on. I don't know, but let's see.
I tried earplugs.
Yeah, she did. When she got out of surgery,
I couldn't do it.
I put on her CPAP because she was. Let's back up just a minute. She wanted me to video, as much as I could possibly, so that we could provide y'all a video of actual footage while we were there and things. Because just mainly because if we had seen that, there would just be a level of comfort that we would have had that we didn't have. Once you get there and you see it, you're like, oh, okay, well, this is great. But, we didn't have that until we got there. So I'm just saying the video would have helped that. Okay, yeah, I know where I was going with that. Anyway, so she gets out of surgery and she tells me, I videoed her going in, the guy taking her back and like, oh, bye-bye. And then I see her, I hear the elevator ding and I look up and I had her phone in my hand because I knew I'd kind of kept it there just in case because I knew it was getting kind of close. And our friend Ricardo, he has her in a wheelchair and she's looking, and I can't make the face because it was the most hideous RBF you've ever seen in your entire life. Like she looked like, I'm just trying to think of something positive that's not going to get me in trouble.
There's probably nothing.
It looked like she was mad at the entire world. Like it was the most ugliest resting bee face you've ever seen in your life. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that to her. Like I'm not going to document this because her husband will still put it in the video even if she don't want to. And so she was super grouchy. After that, and the pain she had was not from the incisions. It was not from her stomach. It was all gas pains. And so I think that, for you that are, worried about not feeling good and, having the right pain meds and this and that, like the pain you're going to have is.
There's nothing you can do about it. But walk.
It's manageable, and it's not, it's not like pains that are, you think that something is wrong. Like it's just a bad gas pain all over your body. Like anytime you have surgery. And so she, burped a lot and she grouched a lot and she, I
was grouchy. I was not a good patient.
She was just not happy. She's like, I'm not ever going to, tell somebody to come here again. And I was like, Angie, whatever. Like, it's been great. Like, but she was just in that mode. And so later on, she was like, I don't really know why I was being like that because it has been great. Everybody was great. Like, it worked like it said. Like,
oh, yeah.
And so, like I don't know.
Like looking back on it, it seems a lot better than what it did when I was going through it because I didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And I couldn't eat anything.
And unknowns are what get me. Like, I'm not good with unknowns. And there was a lot of unknowns. And so now looking back, I think, well, I wish I had just chilled out and enjoyed it.
But I didn't do that at the time.
Yeah.
It was just like, get through this and, get home. That's all I was thinking.
She kept saying, I can't wait to be back on U.S. soil.
Like I want to go home.
Yeah. And which there was a different feeling when we did get back into San Diego. And it wasn't anything to do with that it was, scary or anything. It was just that we're homebodies that live in, Arkansas. And we don't ever get out much. So this was like, both of us had to get passports just to do this. And so it was, we just had to step out of our comfort zone.
Country done come to town.
Showing up. So, for the companions, like the hotel, like there's food at the hotel. I had set in my mind before I even left that I was not going to drink the water. And that I was not going to eat anywhere besides the hospital and the hotel because I'd already, heard from other companions on EOC Facebook that, those foods were good, that, there's no issues ever. And so, and both of those were amazing. The cafeteria downstairs, you think of a hospital cafeteria, and then you see this and you're like, wow, this is it'll make you chuckle at first. It's like a little bitty, big walk-in closet kind of thing in the side of the hospital, but there's a little buffet, and a table or two, and an amazing chef who will make anything that you say, like whether it's a burger or an enchilada or a steak or shrimp or anything you ask him, he makes it. And it usually costs $5 to $10, like no matter how much, and that's with a drink. And so, there's a guy and a girl that I got food from both, and they were both amazing. The hotel food was a little fancier type food, but it still wasn't expensive. Like it wasn't, I think we might have paid $36 for one meal, but it's because I got something kind of pricey.
And and I got $49 for the next one, but you got a dessert and a shot.
Stop it. I wasn't going to go there. So, we just got extras. Anyway, but so some of the companions that were there that I met, the companions usually like randomly see each other, downstairs at the cafeteria. And like I'm not somebody that's like super just social. And so it took me a day or two I don't know, half a day maybe, to feel like I wanted to talk to anybody. And so like when I finally did, they kept telling me they had eaten it, they had gotten food from Uber Eats. And so later on that day, because then I thought, oh, I'm not doing that because I'm not going to get sick here. I've got to be good for her. I cannot let anything cause me to be sick. And so that night, I think I was laying there playing on my phone. I was like, I'm going to download the app and see what they got, because I was really in the mood for a dessert or something. I thought, I'll just see what I can get. And so I downloaded it, and I didn't find anything then. But the next day, I thought, I'm going to do this. So I found a place that you can tell by how long it takes you to get the stuff, like, how close they are to you and that kind of thing. So I went out to the nurse's station, and one of the ladies that had only really spoken to us through her Google, I said, I want to get tacos from this place. So tell me what to get, because it was all in Spanish. And so she just clicks it, do this. And I was like, okay. And I looked at my phone, I was like, oh, it's got 4 minutes. Like, he's going to be here in 4 minutes. So I get on the elevator and I head down, and by the time I get to the big brown gate with the big security guy, he's not like big. He's just like, you ain't messing with him. And he opens the gate because he'd seen the Uber guy coming. And I walk out, and it's like an old raggedy dirt bike with a box on the back that said Uber Eats. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So I got my tacos, and I go sit down, and I was thinking to myself, like, well, I'm just going to, I want to say the tacos might have been $3, and then I tipped them $5. So, it was just super cheap. And I didn't have to tip $5. I want to say that $3 or $4 was with the delivery fee included. And so I sat down, and I thought, well, I'm just going to look and see how these look. And if they look kind of cray-cray, I'm just going to throw them away. But I opened it, and it looked great. It smelled amazing. And so they were the best, probably the best food, even on a level of like snow crab and stuff. Like, those tacos were the best things I ever put in my mouth. And I was kind of amazed. And still am. I still think about those tacos. And then when I got back home, I only wanted Mexican food. But nothing ever topped those tacos.
Because it's not delivered on a dirt bike.
Yeah. The dirt bike did it.
Yeah.
But
I did finally get better and start feeling better and getting out. And
let's just say this. It was when they finally took her IV. She had really hard time getting IVs. And I want to say this, and it might be not good to say, and if so, then Jeremy can edit this out. But the lady, when we first got there that morning at the hospital, and I told you, I just said that, it didn't go so great, but it's because the lady didn't really speak a lot of English. But the English she did speak was, she said, you got deep vein and hard to find. You work for a bariatric hospital. You should be great at finding deep veins.
Everybody's fat.
Everybody's veins that you touch should be deep. But okay, whatever.
It was rough.
And so that started out, that's how it started out. So needless to say, she had like 5 different times of IVs while we were there. And that made her very pissy, very, very grouchy.
It hurts.
And so once she got the IVs out and then she got the drain tube out, she felt like a new woman. Like she was ready to go. And she had wanted to use the vet bond because she has she's really allergic to any tapes. Like they break her out really bad. And so we had taken her,
all of
the bandages off because they did put some on her with some tape. And so we had taken all those off and we were going to go on the tour the next day. Because we'd already went from the hospital to the hotel. And you get there that morning and they do like a little seminar kind of thing in the bar. Or there's a man who...
Do you remember his name?
I don't.
He was so nice.
I've seen him on the ESC page. And like
he's so sweet.
He is a hoot. And like I want to say he had the surgery and his wife, I believe. Mm-hmm. And like, so it's having somebody that knows, has been there. Yep. It helps to feel like, okay, well, whatever he's saying we're just going to take it for Bible because he's been there and done that. And everything they said was actually absolutely correct. Like, as far as how she needed to do and what she needed to take. And so while we were there, they give you this notebook of medicines, of like what you can buy at the pharmacy, what they really needed to buy at the pharmacy. Yeah, and so you get a little sheet, you get to write it down. Mm-hmm. They take it this was that morning at like 9, and they took it to the pharmacy or something. Because when we got there, the medicines were ready, and so they said at that meeting they told us to meet at 12:30 out by the room that's their office. And so as usual, Mexican time, like all of us were there at 12:30, and he shows up at 12:45. Like, oh, let's go! Y'all ready? And like, we've been ready, boo. But anyway, so they take us they go on a tour in which me and Angie were, like I said, like looking back, I wish we'd enjoyed it a little bit more. But
you can look at the pictures of me and tell how bad I felt. Like I had no makeup on, my hair was crazy.
In the van, and it's when I had sunglasses on and my hair was back. And that was when we were going to the pharmacy, and I was just like, oh, I'm not in the mood for this. No. Do not take me very far away from my comfort zone. I'd already asked the driver, like, how far is it away? Because like I need to know, like, are we talking like that I can walk back if I don't want to be there? Like.
It wasn't that close.
Let me say this: that anybody that knows me, I'm not good at traveling anyway. Like in vehicles, like I'm just not
riding with anybody.
The plane didn't bother me at all, but the vehicles did. And so we go to the pharmacy, we get that done, and they were awesome because like they realized that some of them weren't going to feel great, and so they said, whoever, we'll take you to the pharmacy to get your meds, and then we'll take people back to the hotel, and whoever wants to continue on the tour. We'll go, and they go to a Mexican restaurant to eat, and you get broth and then ice cream and a souvenir shop.
I wish we had went, or at least I wish I would have went.
You should have went.
But
I'm glad I didn't.
I didn't, and it's okay. But Abraham was great.
He was really great. And so they took us back to the hotel, and we were just able to chill. We came across some I'm just going to call them Canadians.
Great Canada people.
That's the only way I know how to describe, they were just, it was like two different groups, like, a woman and her friend and a woman and her husband. And they were awesome. They were like, just like us, like kind of just like what you see is what you get, not putting on the airs kind of people, which are what we like. So we had a really good time with them. We had lunch that day.
That was like when I felt the best.
Me too. I finally kind of felt at ease that day. And we just had a good time. And which... like Angie read some of the information on how to do things. She read it a little bit wrong on the flight. So on Sundays it says, like, specifically in bold, do not make a flight before 1 p.m. Well, Angie read it as make your flight before 1 p.m. Yeah. So our flight was at 10:15, 11:05,
10:30.
Something, whatever it was before 1. And so we had to like that. I guess this was
Saturday.
Yeah, okay, but we figured this out on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
So Thursday night, we figured out that. And so we started scrambling and like figuring out what can we do. So basically we stayed, because you do 1 night at the hotel, 2 nights at the hospital, 2 nights at the hotel, and then back home. Mm-hmm. Well, we did 1 night, 2 nights, 1 night, and we was it Abraham who took us back?
Remy
took us back across the border Saturday. Mm-hmm. That morning, we and which it was a little bit longer, but it was only because of traffic, because they basically waved us through. They did take our passports that time. The first time they didn't even check our passports.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say that. But coming back through, they did check them through, scan them or whatever, but that's it. They didn't look through anything. They didn't.
I thought I know.
I think they know that these people are, like everybody on that van has been checked out through EOC and, all on the up and up. So we got back to San Diego that day, and we both felt better, like as far as just like, because, when you tell people you're going to Mexico, like, I know that they're joking, but like 99% of people that I told that I was going there say, well, don't end up in a Mexican prison for 30 years, so like, it's kind of like,
you never know about us.
End up in a Mexican prison for 30 years. Yeah. But Aunt Momo got us a hotel in San Diego. It was
It was the Four Points by Sheraton.
And it was amazing.
And it was close to the airport. Yeah. And it was great.
They had a shuttle that picked us up that morning and took us to the airport.
Yes.
But when we got to the hotel, it was kind of like still early. So we finally got the balls to do an Uber. So we got an Uber and we were like, take us to the nearest mall. And so that was fun. Angie had a hard time walking, of course. She's got a meniscal tear in her knee. So that was, we got a wheelchair for part of it, but we still had a really good time. And
that Uber driver taking us there was so cool.
He was.
I loved him. So didn't even get his name. I got the other guy's name, but not his.
Yeah.
And he said we were his best ride of the day because we were crazy.
But it's probably because we were like, saying crazy things and cussing maybe just a little bit. And being just like
stupid.
Yeah, like probably a little bit foul and goofy. And we have a real foul sense of humor that some people don't understand.
He understood.
We're not for everyone. But yeah, he was great. The other one wasn't so like we didn't. He was nicer, but anyway.
He was an older gentleman.
Because people had told me, be careful in San Diego because, like it's very liberal over there. And, just there's a lot of crime. There's just a lot of things going on, which we were in a really good area. So we didn't have to worry about that. But that we got back from the Uber, like the Uber dropped us off and we had eaten, there was a food court there in the mall that we went to.
The outdoor mall.
I have no idea what the name of that mall was, but
Fashion Valley. I know malls.
And so I looked around, I was like, man, I don't see any, like none of it looked like things that would just have broth on their menu. So I can't remember the guy. It was I'm going to say gyro because
Euro.
I can't say that with a G on the front. Like it just it just doesn't go. And so there was a gyro shop and there was a man in there. I went in there. He looked like he owned it just by the way he acted. And I was like, hey, I need a favor. I need some kind of liquid broth or liquid anything for my sister. He was like, well, I don't have that on the menu. And I was like, okay. And he says, but I will figure out something. So give me just a minute. And so I ordered something that had like shrimp and gyro meat, which was like the best thing I'd ever had in my life, besides the tacos. And he made some kind of broth out of something. I don't know what it was. It was good. So she ate there, which she felt like that she had been drinking and, drinking enough. And I just didn't feel like she had, but it's because she was full, but I just knew that the amount she was drinking was just not enough to keep her hydrated. I will back up and say this, that we had an issue at the hospital, which the issue was me because I'm stubborn about stuff, but she had just gotten the drain tube out, in which she had been stressing over getting that out all day. And I say stressing it because she wanted it out. It was bugging her. Like she couldn't take a deep breath and she was just grouchy. And in Mexico time, like the nurses would tell her, oh, he'll be here in 30 minutes or he'll be here in an hour. He's coming in an hour. And this was happened 4 times. So it went from being at 10 o'clock that morning to 5 o'clock that night. Yeah. And so when she finally did get it out, they came and checked her vitals of probably 30 minutes later, and her blood pressure was high. And they were like, so they come in with this little box and they said, we need you to take this. And I said, what is that? And they said, it's medicine for blood pressure. And I said, hold up just a second. I said, her blood pressure's high because she's not taking, y'all have had her off of all her meds, sorry, and she's not taking that for 2 days. So yeah, her blood pressure is going to be high. She just needs to take her medicine. I pulled out her bottle and I said, this is what she takes. And so she took a picture of it, and she went and talked to the doctor, and she came back and said, okay, well, she can take hers, but we'll have to put an IV in her. And she was like, no way, they're not doing that. And I was like, you're right, they're not doing that. So I go out there.
My bruise is better from when they tried. Yeah.
So I go out there, and I kind of talk. I was like, I need to know why. Like, what's the deal? What's in that box that's not in this? Why? Like, she's not getting another IV. That sucks. Like, she's, y'all poked her all over, and you have a hard time, and they never work. Like, they always stop working. So, and finally, it wasn't Dr. Ortiz. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
It was the taller guy.
It starts with a C, but I can't pronounce it. So Dr. C.
Yeah, Dr. C. He came in, and he told me in plain English, like, the pill we were going to give her did not have a diuretic. The pill she does have a diuretic, and she's not drinking enough, so she'll be dehydrated. And so I came back into the room, and I said, okay, you're either going to have to get an IV and take your meds or take their meds. And she was like, I'm not doing it. I was like, yes, you are. Like, this is it. Like, this is why. Like, I'm good when I know the reason. Like, but they had to tell me the reason why first, because I felt like I needed to protect her. Like, I didn't, like I said, unknowns scare me. And I've just got to make sure, I had to make sure that I knew what was going on with her. And so that kind of showed me there that, like, they pay attention to details like that, because she's already not getting enough fluids. And had they just done because I kind of went out there, I'm not going to say I was ugly, but like I was stern about, like, this is not happening and she's going to take hers. And they pretty much, like, they just told me why, and it made total sense. And I was like, oh, okay, well, thank goodness for that, because if they had just listened to me, then she would have been in a pickle. So anyway, sorry I keep bouncing back and forth, but that's how my brain does for real. So back to San Diego. So we get back from the mall, and there is out by the road is a scooter, one of those, there was a couple of those Lime scooters. And like, we live in like a town where there's just nothing, like there's just not much. So we don't get out in the big city very much. So we get there, and Angie goes and sits in the lobby, and I said, I'm going to go ride that scooter across the street, because there was a 4-lane street, but there was a store like immediately across the street. I'd already walked over to that store earlier that day and gotten drinks and stuff. So, I knew, like, I could get across there. It wasn't a big deal. So I sit out there for like 5 minutes downloading the app, and Angie, I was around a bush, so she couldn't see me. So she texts me, and she's like, what in the crap are you doing? And then I said, I'm downloading the app. Just give me a minute. I am riding this scooter. Like, God, I'm going to do it. Like, well, I didn't get to do nothing fun, and this is it. I'm fixing it. We're back in the States, so I'm going to go wild and ride the scooter. So I download the app, and I get it. And so I would just kind of pick it up and put it where I wanted. And I had not tried it to know that when it first starts out, it goes slow. It like kind of eases up to speed. And I needed it to, like, go from stop to like going, because there was a stoplight, and the stoplight was red at the moment, but as soon as I stepped off the curb with it, it turned green, and the scooter didn't go. So
I wish I'd have videoed that.
I was like, oh God. So yeah, it was not great. So I go across the street, I go inside just long enough to get Dr. Pepper, and I got her some more of the electrolyte stuff. Because they did have that in San Diego, the same brand. Because the electrolyte stuff that they have in Mexico, she can take that so much better. Mm-hmm. It just has a weird taste, she said, here in the States. Mm-hmm. The Pedialyte and stuff. There, it's called like electrolyte something.
I don't remember.
Maybe it just is electrolytes. I don't know. So anyway, I might have had that scooter in my possession for six and a half minutes. And so I came back across the street, in which in the final video that you'll see, she did video that. And so I scooter across, and I come up to the hotel door, and I hand her the bag, and the hotel people were like, oh, is that a kind of Uber thing? And she's like, no, it's just my sister. And so anyway, that little trip across the street cost me like $5 and something for like So I was like, okay, well, that was
fun.
That was fun. It was a little bit expensive just for that. I could have walked over there for $5. So anyway, that's kind of the only wild thing I did, because usually I'm going to find something fun to do no matter what I do. But I was too scared to do that in Mexico.
Yeah.
So,
plus we were just busy the whole time there. It was just,
yeah. We were busy, but we were not, because it was like 4 days of sitting around doing nothing. It's what it felt like in one day.
Yeah.
One day felt like, but really it was the hospital days. Being at the hospital felt like 4 days in one.
Yeah.
Like, for the companion, which we had a room that was just her. There were other people that had the rooms where there were 2 people in it. And there's usually in those, there's one chair that is not as comfortable as the other one. Mine was okay. Like I made it work. It wasn't a big deal. And I'm pretty hard on, like I have a hard time sleeping in, uncomfortable spots. And so mine was great. But there were some companions that had the other chair, and they said that it kept folding and stuff. So, but I'd seen on the EOC group that somebody had asked, well, can my husband or my companion, whatever, stay at the hotel while I'm at the hospital? And they said, yes, you can. But like, just being honest, like whether I had a crappy chair or not, like I can't imagine leaving them. Just because there's so many there for. There's so many unknowns, and like, as the companion, you feel like that you have to be the protector. Like you have to be, because they're not always with it. Like, they're not great. No. There's so many reasons, whether it's that you still got pain meds or anesthetic, or they're just mad, something. You know what I'm saying? They're just so. Anyway, that's kind of all I've got. Like for her, flying was hard, which she, had to buy 2 seats and she had to get a belt extender. But I told her when it comes to a day that she doesn't have to do that, she's going to have to fly again and get a whole new perspective of it. Because I thought that was great, which I don't like traveling in a vehicle. So flying was the best part for me. And the airports were all amazing. Like we were always the first ones to get on the plane. We weren't the first ones to get off, but that wasn't ever a big deal. And they just, if you needed the wheelchair, they were like amazing about it. They just knew they just had people there that their job was to take care of you, to get you where you needed to go.
And most of them were great.
And there was one that wasn't, and I'm not going to go there with that because it makes me mad. And I did report her, but other than that, like, they were all amazing. They felt like they were family by the time that they got to our gate, which, it wasn't always a long ways, but like, they're just amazing. There was amazing people in that job. And the one person that wasn't, like, she's in the wrong job. Like, she needs to go work in the cafeteria or something. So anyway, I think that, like, I've skipped around on so many things. But as far as, you, like, if you have an option in the States, and your insurance will pay, so be it. Why would you do that? But like, for her, like,
there was no option.
We had talked about it 7 years ago about her doing this, and I had a bad feeling about it. I was going to be her companion then. I had a bad feeling about it. Her husband had a bad feeling about it. Our family talked her out of it, and we talked. She ended up. She was gonna. You might correct me if I'm wrong, but she was going to. She had talked to somebody that they put you through this year process of approving you to get the surgery for free. It's kind of how they put it. And she went through this whole year of doing these diets and jumping through their hoops and psychology things and all this. And when it got down to it, they say, okay, well, we're going to pay X amount of dollars on it, which still left like almost a $10,000 balance. Who in the world can do that? Like, this costs money too, but it's half the, like it's not that much money. And so, especially like that this was 6 years ago when this happened. And so between that point and now, she had gained another 100 pounds. And like, it just had to happen. Like, it had to happen. Whatever happened, it had to happen. And so it was a blessing for her to find a spot that she could afford, and that we all, like, when she asked me, I immediately knew, like I'm the kind of person that I get a feeling whichever way when no matter how minor it is or major, like, I get a peace about it, I guess you could say. And when she asked me, I thought, yes, like, this is it. This is what we're supposed to do. Like, I had a peace. My husband and I both said, I can think of 100 reasons why I shouldn't do it, but the one reason I should is because she's got to live, and this is the choice right here. This is her option. This is it, because otherwise it's only going to get worse. Like, she had no other options, and so, there were. I don't know, there's people that go there for plastic surgery and, other things that may not be life or death. And that's great too. But when you need it for life or death and you find a spot, like as soon as she asked me and I, worked it out with my husband that I was going to go, I got on the EOC Facebook page. And as much as I had a piece about it, I was still scared as crap because I'm a chicken. Like, I am a Arkansas homebody. Like, I don't get out very much. And so reading, the people, seeing pictures from the people that were there right then at that second or 36 minutes ago, knowing that it's a legit place that's in, the building is like stuff that we live in. It's not run down.
Everything was exactly like the picture.
Yes, it's like high end, good quality, clean, no crazy stuff.
Nope.
That EOC group is what made me not lose my mind.
Yeah, I mean, they do
because
have
I'm
a great
just
group.
scared. Like, I'm just scared. I'm just a chicken about getting out of my comfort zone, and plus, like, needing, knowing that, like, whatever happens, like, I felt like it'd be on me if something happened because I'm the one that's supposed to be making sure everything's okay while she's, not able to, and so, but the EOC group is those comments and everything made it good, and so when Angie said, I'm going to make a YouTube channel and I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to tell how it was, good, bad, and ugly. And I said, that's awesome, because I'm telling you, if I'd seen a video of real people that live here that said exactly how their trip was, good, bad, and ugly, I would have known, exactly what to expect and felt a little bit calmer about it. Like, I knew it was what we needed to do and I had a peace about it. I knew it was going to turn out right. I knew that God had us. I knew that nothing was going to happen. She was going to come back and it's going to be that this surgery is what's going to save her life. And let me back that up. This surgery is what's going to start her life. But like, it's still
scary going to another country.
So I hope that this video has at least made you know, or feel better about that, and know if there's a choice to order the street tacos. Like, you just got to do it because it will change
on the dirt bike.
Well, they all Uber Eats come from a dirt bike. So
didn't know that.
Yes, because I see them all over town. But anyway, and one other tip is that, like, when you get to the Lucerna and you think, oh, I need something from the Circle K, and you step out there and you see the traffic. And you're thinking, crap, it's been like 19 years since I played Frogger. I don't really know how to do this. But the tip is that the crosswalks, that people have to stop for it, and they do. Now, like, you're walking across the crosswalk and they might skirt right on you, but they're not going to run over you. Like, they won't. But I did say, like, I ran with everything I had in me. I sprinted like somebody was chasing me. But I would see them stop on a dime for other people. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess they're not going to run over me. But, it's just so different than what we deal with here on the daily, because there's so many laws and things that, I'm not saying there's not laws there. I just don't know what they are. So it's just different.
Well, that is our story for today, children. Until next time, we're going to say much love.